Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the GOWEN Racing Podcast here on the channel. Today, we got quite a bit to go over compared to last week. After a boring Coca-Cola 600, and just not a lot happened. But this week, we got quite a bit to go over. Sonoma from NASCAR, Formula One at Azerbaijan. There's some potential rumors about both 2311 Racing Trackhouse expanding next year, and both have been talking to Cup Series veteran Kurt Busch, as well as some Jeff Gordon rumors going around. He could potentially be out of the Fox booth at the end of the year due to some Hendrick Motorsports leadership role changes for him. And then the plate package has also been changed and whatnot. And so overall, a lot to go over this week now, as I am joined by Mr. JayCook,
Hello.
as well as Matt O'Brien.
Ew.
How we doing tonight, guys? I mean, it's been a packed week, I think, and honestly, I think both weeks or both races that we had on Sunday, I think we can all agree were pretty good.
Oh yeah, they were great this weekend. This
Yeah.
past weekend of racing was good.
Yeah, very, very good.
I thought Azerbaijan was the best, but we'll dive into
Oh,
that
yeah.
later on the podcast when we get to the F1 segment. So we will start things off though with Sonoma. Now, did anyone think it was going to be the Kyle Larson Coca-Cola 600 over again?
No.
No.
But that's exactly what it was. I'm pretty sure he won all stages, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, he swept
He
everything.
won this race in a very unorthodox way. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
It was
Like compared to what you do to at a road course, it was a very weird race strategy wise.
yeah.
And Sonoma has been for the last 5 years now since
Well-
they did stages.
What I'm saying is, you would always come in with 2 to go, right? To the stage. Not many people did that this race. You know what I mean?
That's true. Which I'm kind of glad because the last several years Sonoma races have been ruined by that. Absolutely just ruined.
Well, that's a stages at road course problem.
the stages need to go away at road courses.
Just a caution.
Yeah. Stage caution.
Frankly, I think they just need to go. I think the stage cautions just need to go.
I don't agree with that.
At all tracks or just road courses?
I think at all tracks.
I say just road courses.
Yeah.
My logic is, there's no. To me, it feels like there's, besides road courses, like let's throw Sonoma out the window, but like at every speedway, the strategy's the same. There's no variation. You can't do anything. You're pretty much stuck in a box basically of, we're pitting halfway through the stage.
Yeah, that's true, but at the same time, I personally would rather take no strategy and some restarts mixed into the race where we could potentially have some more exciting stuff happen versus strategy where a guy saves 5 extra laps and wins by
Or
10
like
seconds.
a normal race that we used to have before stages, just with
Yeah.
some points thrown in here and there. Because like
What's the problem with it though?
it's boring if we don't have those cautions. The reason we started throwing these stage cautions was because of the boringness in the middle of the race, right? So it wouldn't make
Yeah.
sense to take them out.
And another reason, allegedly, is so we can put more commercials in during cautions and not during the race.
Although they do not.
That lasted for about a year.
Yeah, if that.
Not even. Probably the first Daytona 500 with stages, and that was it.
Yeah.
I'll get into the broadcast later.
Yeah, we will talk about the broadcast again because that was like the main theme from last week, in my opinion, was just we really talked about how bad the broadcast was. It was bad again this week.
It was arguably worse.
Well, we'll touch upon it as soon as we go over our recap and stuff over the race. But I mean, stage 1, Kyle Larson won. The first 2 stages, not a whole lot really happened. I mean, other than some weird strategy. Yeah, and
somehow said that was a spooky.
Bubba Wallace also had a flat tire.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I think he rebounded actually to a pretty solid finish.
14th.
Yeah, that's a solid rebound for them. So they'll
You know,
take that.
talking about rebound. Somehow Austin Dillon managed 13th, even though he had no batteries the entire race.
Yeah, no, I didn't even. I usually forget about him being in the race. Um, but a good result for him, I guess. Now is he's still in the playoffs or whatever.
Yeah.
But Larson sweeps the stages, and then we go into the final stage, and on it started. It was pretty calm for the majority of that too. But Larson was just kind of working his way through traffic, and eventually got past Elliott, and just well, let's just say that 5 car was unbelievable. Like
Yeah, usually we expect Larson to be fast for like 3 laps, and then his tires are destroyed, and he'll be in 20th 10 laps later.
he ran down Elliott he passed a whole bunch of cars, and he was like 7 seconds behind Elliott, and ran him down and
Turns
passed him.
turns out fresh tires meant a lot today.
Yeah.
And a fast car. The strategy of this race was just all over the place. Just without everything, the strategies got thrown out the window as soon as that competition caution was called at like 10 laps into the race, and
Yeah.
everyone.
I
And
thought
then the
it
stage
spiced it up though.
Oh yeah, the varying strategies was
Yeah, like
crazy.
it wasn't strategies that made the race worse this time. It spiced it up, and like it put
Oh yeah,
Larson in the position he was in where he still destroyed everybody, but it still gave us some action. Um,
mm-hmm.
and then everything kind of kicked off towards the end. I think it was when Quinn Health pulled off the track.
Yeah,
Eh,
I was so that caution, that Quinn Hoff caution, rightfully called, but my God, I wanted to fucking go off, man. I was so mad that it happened. As an Eric
I
Jones
guess
fan, I
like
was so mad. I was so mad as an Eric Jones fan because he was gonna get a top 5 probably
I mean
off
like
it.
I mean his car was stopped in a spot where a car still could have came and hit him, right? It was
Yeah,
extremely
but it was on like
unlikely.
yeah.
But it's like
I
I
said it
guess
was the right call. It was just frustrating.
If NASCAR road courses were better designed, where you can kind of have a nice pull off, where like F1 has or something, then that would have been better. They wouldn't have had to throw a caution, but they didn't have that. I mean, it was an awkward spot for him to have the car stop. So, but that kind of kicked everything off. I mean, Kyle Larson, of
Yeah.
course, was still able to find a way to be okay.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, also the thing with the Quinn Hoff thing, as we'll find out later, and to no one's surprise, NASCAR does their best. If they can throw a caution, they will throw a caution.
oh yes.
um, but you can go on.
I think there was 2 more crashes after that, or the only one I can remember though.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm looking at racing reference. So Quinn Hoff had his thing, and we went back green, and then a driver on the podcast that we've criticized
This is
before
the one I
did a
remember.
move. Yeah, did a non-surprising move at all.
Jay and I were roasting the man, Ross Chastain, as this happened. Every time Chastain does something stupid, I tweet like Chastain shocker or something like that, or shocker Chastain. Like,
Because it's not shocking. Because he's all right.
um,
He does have speed, but goddamn, he's like he's kind of like Stenhouse. Honestly, he has speed, but he just is a road hazard.
yeah,
And he just went full send.
and yeah, I mean LaJoy was on slower tires or older tires, sorry. So Chastain had more speed, but LaJoy it was into the final hairpin, and LaJoy had the corner
Yeah,
originally. And then Chastain said, "No, you don't," and he just full center in there, took him
yeah, and
out,
then
got other cars involved, cuts the whole
Harvick,
course. Oh,
like
Harvick, yeah, he was involved. Yeah,
Harvick, Eric Jones, Byron.
I
Who
think
else? Oh,
Bowman as well.
Bowman. Yeah, Bowman's hood got destroyed in this. And then yeah, you can continue with Ross Chastain doing what he did,
Yeah,
and
he just decides to hook it right, cut the whole thing past everybody, and then they do not let him, or they do let him keep his spots after he just cut everything.
ridiculous.
which is somehow not a rule. There's no rule about cutting that part of the track, which is weird.
Like I get it. I get cutting if you're avoiding a crash. Obviously, no one's going to complain. But he was spun out, like he was backwards,
And he
then
spun himself out, basically.
then he cuts the course, and then speeds up to pass so many cars. Why was he lined up in the top 10? Why? There's no. This is like one of those moments in iRacing where the guy like spins out and he loses 5 spots, but all of a sudden he ends up in front of you. You're like, how is this allowed?
Yeah. But nothing we can do about it, and he's still got a decent finish because of that. So,
NASCAR
7th.
Yeah, NASCAR screwed that up bad, in my opinion. He should have been scored. I don't know where he should have been scored, but not nowhere near the top 10. That's for sure.
Yeah. Unfortunate. Hopefully they don't. I mean, actually, I don't think they're going to change that. But
I don't think they will.
we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Kyle Larson, though, kept on hanging on these restarts, and then I think there was maybe one more crash that caused a caution.
2 more.
But was that did any of them
There
cause a
was-
caution?
Yes, there was 2 more cautions after this.
Oh, okay.
So this one was when Matty D took out Priest and then Cody Ware and then.
Yeah.
Jay, do you have any input on this situation?
Straight up dump Priest. I have no idea why, but he straight up dumped him.
Yeah, and
then Priest pulled a big dummy and pulled it back on track.
Oh my god, that was ridiculous too. What was he thinking?
I have no idea.
Like, that's like, and my thought would be,
It's like Vettel at Monza.
Yes. But I was like, where's the NASCAR calling Ryan Priest to hauler after the race? Didn't hear that one.
I mean, what if his spotter maybe thought he was clear?
Drivers, yeah, I'm assuming. But like, still.
No, it was not good on his part.
Yeah.
And then Cody Ware.
Cody Ware, like obviously he hits Priest because of that, and then like
I think his car is broke.
back into him.
No, I think the car. I don't think he has control, but I'm not sure. But that wreck was kind of funny, but
stupid but
we
funny.
had another one. Yeah, stupid and funny, and then we have another one, and I hated this one. This one was horrible. So this is when Bowman sent Blaney and Bell spinning.
I legitimately don't remember that one.
I don't remember this one either.
This was before the green white checkered. Bowman sends Bell and Blaney, and somehow Alfredo spins. And this is the one where Alfredo's just sitting on the track.
Yeah.
Intentionally trying to bring out a caution. And this is the I hate this because this happens all the time. They just sit there acting like the car is dead, right?
Caution comes out, it rolls.
They start moving. Now, you want to know what NASCAR should do? Hold them a lap.
Because I mean, NASCAR 100% knows what they're doing.
Yep.
So if you are going to stop your car after getting spun out to make sure you get a caution, you 100% should get a 1-lap penalty.
Thing is NASCAR wants cautions, so like, why would they?
Yeah, but they should also still penalize the guy for it.
Like when Bubba admitted he brought out that one caution for self-spinning at Texas, they penalized him.
I mean,
you cannot tell me.
Bubba kind of forced their hand to penalize him once he mentioned you intentionally did it.
But that doesn't. This is the same situation. You're not telling me he did not bring that out on purpose by just sitting on the track. He moved as soon as the caution came out.
Honestly, I think NASCAR was throwing the caution either way because they threw it pretty darn quick after that. Like, there was
a delay. There was a decent delay. If you watch it back, there's a decent delay, and you know exactly what they were thinking. All right, let's get another caution because we know he's just sitting there on purpose. And lo and behold, as soon as the caution comes out, 5 seconds later, he starts moving.
Mm-hmm.
We see it all the time, and it's ridiculous.
It's a very common
thing. It would be really
thing.
nice if NASCAR started penalizing people for intentionally bringing out cautions. They won't, but they should.
Yeah.
It's weird because they tried to set like a statement when they penalized Bubba.
And they have
and
done
then
nothing.
and then ever since that, the people that continue to do it, they don't do anything about it. I guess you have to legitimately say, "Oh, I did this on purpose," even though it's blatantly obvious it wasn't purpose.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, because like Bubba basically forced their hand into penalizing him by saying that if he didn't say anything, NASCAR wouldn't have penalized him, because I don't think they really care, because they want cautions too.
Yeah, but it didn't make no statement. I mean, it seems like a very pointless fine because they haven't enforced anything.
No, they weren't trying to make a statement. Their hand was just forced to penalize him because he mentioned he did it on purpose. They
Everyone
weren't
else is
trying
doing
to
it on
make a
purpose.
statement. Well, yeah, but
If you're gonna
Bubba
find
blatantly
Bubba,
said
yeah, but it's no
Bubba
different.
blatantly said it though. No one else has, so
Yeah,
that's
but
why
it
their hand
was
was forced to do it.
it was blatantly obvious when Bubba did it, and same for everyone else. Just because they didn't say it, I think they should be fined
Yeah.
then too.
No, they should be, but what I'm saying is NASCAR doesn't want to fine the drivers because they don't care about cautions coming out, because they want cautions coming out. However, Bubba coming out to the media and saying that he did it on purpose forced NASCAR's hand to penalize him, because if you don't penalize him, then what does that show to the public? You don't care about cautions coming out and you want them to be thrown even if they're on purpose. So their hand was forced to penalize him. That's why that happened. And they don't do
I
it to other
I
drivers
think it was
because they
I
don't
think it
care.
was a terrible fine. That's just my opinion. But um, what was that? The last caution causing
Yeah, and then
caution?
Gringer triggered, and then
Yeah,
I'm sure Gary's got some strong words for what
Michael
happened on the last lap.
McDowell. I have disliked this guy since I've started watching NASCAR. For the record, I'm not like just a hater out of nowhere. I have not liked this guy ever. He won the Daytona 500. That was probably the most disappointing Daytona 500 winner ever for me.
Yeah,
It
I
was the
wasn't
worst.
excited for that one either.
I wasn't excited either, and it didn't help. It was probably the worst race I've ever watched.
But Michael McDowell and Daniel Suarez have gotten into it before, by the way. So McDowell should have already known before messing with Daniel. I mean, Daniel threw him to the ground at Phoenix in 2019 after McDowell grabbed him by the neck. So they came through the first part of the course, the little S's and crap, and then the corner before the carousel, McDowell is on the right side of Suarez. I think he got loose. I couldn't tell. He might have got loose, but
Yeah,
nonetheless,
yeah.
whatever happened, he still runs Suarez off the track. And
Yeah,
Suarez,
McDowell, it was off track. So
but I also, before we go further, there was some people talking about that were paying attention to that battle that was going on in that area, and I guess McDowell had been racing like that, like for the majority of the time already, to other people. So, but he did it to Suarez on the last lap. Suarez saves it, gets it back on track. Obviously, he's way behind McDowell. Um, and then they went through the carousel, whatever, and then eventually they go to that double right-hander. And then Bowman decides to basically do the same thing McDowell did to Suarez, and he does that to McDowell, puts McDowell off the track. So then Suarez gets back to McDowell in the final corner, waits no time, and just straight up dumps him. And it was great. It was glorious.
Um, actually, I think the most embarrassing thing out of all this is the fact that Suarez was able to catch back up to him.
That's what I'm like, man. You go and do that to him, and you let him get back to you. Like, what an idiot.
You know, in a half a lap.
Yeah.
Like Suarez is like in La La Land. He is like, he should be wrecking how far he's off track. How does he get back to him? I need to know. Right?
We had a top 10 too before he did that to us. So,
Yeah.
another good recovery by Suarez as well. So, but
The worst
yeah,
part about it was how Front Row Motorsports acted on Twitter too.
well, because the broadcast only showed Suarez turning him,
Yeah.
and then front row was like, "Let's run with that."
I'm sure the team like
Would have
knew what
known,
actually happened.
yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously, no, the general public had no idea, so they were like, "We can roll with this storyline."
Yeah, because I didn't see it until it was last night, wasn't it, Gary?
Night
Yeah,
before last.
no, the night before, yeah.
Yeah. It was Monday night when there was finally video of like what triggered it, and
Yeah.
I was
Like, even like at first, I thought I didn't know anything happened. I thought Suarez just decided to
Yeah.
dump him, and I was all for it anyways because I don't like McDowell. But then after seeing what happened beforehand, I was even more for it, of course. But
Mhm.
and obviously
Yeah, no, I was.
justified.
like when I first saw it live, I'm like, wow, that was really bizarre
Yeah,
and odd. And I was like, huh, I wonder what happened. Then you see that, I'm like, oh yeah, 100% justified by Suarez, 100%.
absolutely. Um,
Um,
there was an argument some people were putting up like, oh, McDowell only costed Suarez a couple positions, and Suarez, costed McDowell a ton. But it's just like,
hit me with the fifth, I'll hit you with a brick.
don't get run down after shoving a guy way off track, anyways, in half a lap.
Yeah.
Um, I did like what Bowman did. You could tell Bowman was not messing around when he saw what happened, because he got to McDowell and just shoved him right off the track too. But I think that was really the only eventful other thing that happened.
Yeah. So speaking of, well, Kyle Larson won. He's looking really, really good. But I think the Suarez thing is like just the incident is just a microcosm of the broadcasting. Um, because I started focusing on it more like after last week because I thought it was so bad. This week was arguably even worse. Like for example, we had no idea what happened to cause this Suarez thing until days after, and it wasn't even like a broadcast. It was just a roof cam of I don't even, of like
Bowman's
Bowman or
car,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, how is this stuff not shown? And like, also, like Gary talks about this all the time privately, and even on Twitter sometimes. These narrow camera shots, man. You
Once
see these
again,
things.
you
You see
can't even
these
see
things
the
in the
whole width
back.
of the track.
Yeah, especially on restarts, because like there was a restart where like LaJoy just moved Eric out of the way in the carousel. You barely saw it in the background. It took like 2 laps later. They go, oh, look what happened to LaJoy and Eric Jones. If it was a wider camera shot, you would have seen it instantly, right?
Uh
And
huh.
all this stuff is everywhere. There's so much action happening on these restarts, and you don't see any of it.
I mean, they're so focused on the front.
Yeah. We're so
Even if
focused on
there's,
Kyle Larson with
yeah.
a 1 second lead after 4 turns. We must focus on Kyle Larson the entire time.
I
It is
wonder
the
if
most. Oh my god.
I wonder if it's a sponsor thing.
What sponsor does Kyle Larson have that needs to be shown on
Well,
TV?
no, like overall in general, like I wonder if across the board sponsors are like, hey, zoom in on these cars so that way our logo is actually like readable and stuff, and don't show other cars in the same
Hon-
screen.
Honestly,
Like
I
I
wouldn't be
dead ass would not be
surprised.
surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like I would you be surprised if I told you this? I have a theory that the reason they do interviews right after they get out of the car, so they can end the broadcast faster and get to more commercials faster.
Makes sense because I can't think of any reason um, that makes it worth doing other than that. I think the
I
interviewing after right out of the car is still silly. I've been
Uh,
against it since they started doing it. Because well, unless um,
I want to see
no,
Victory Lane,
no,
yes,
man.
I don't agree with.
do
I
either
don't
one.
necessarily agree with
If
that.
you're gonna do the right out of the car, don't do victory lane whatsoever. Guys just got to
I
give the
don't.
same interview once again. I want to see
Yeah,
if
that's
it
true.
should just be, in my opinion, just victory lane. Obviously, why are they doing that now? Because there's like no protocols. So like, why can't they do that big celebration still? I wonder. No, no one.
I
I don't know.
hey, cause we have to get those commercials, man.
But that like, I honestly thought that'll probably be back next year. I would think.
You'd
Honestly,
Um,
hope.
I think that that's probably the one thing that they took from like F1 style of broadcasting and stuff. They're having the interview as soon as they get out of the car. That's probably like I don't know if it was for the reason of commercials. I think it was
No,
more of
no.
a
well,
I mean,
no, F1
F1
it
puts
works
because
though
it's
because they give them that moment to go celebrate with their team still before they take their helmet off. They get out of the
right.
car, they climb out of their car, and then they jump to their
Yeah,
team that's right at the walls there, and then they go and deal with the
yeah, but
and
interviewer.
NASCAR is a bit of a different victory thing too, like compared to F1. I'm sure if the car is pulled down pit road and all that stuff like F1 does, then there would probably be probably be that moment as well. But they don't in NASCAR. So Aside from the winner goes out on track. Everybody else goes on pit road. But
I think save the interview for when the whole team's there because it's a team sport,
Mm,
not one guy.
exactly. And just like, I hope NBC is better, man. I really do. It needs to be better.
Well, like I
I
feel
think
like
NBC usually has the wider shots compared to Fox. But like commercials aren't going to change. The overall commentator style I feel is always better with NBC
Yeah.
compared to Fox. But we're still going to get all the
We'll get
wacky
into
and stupid
broadcaster stuff, huh?
commercials.
duh,
Uh,
maybe very soon actually.
um. Yeah. So what else is there to talk about the race? Anything?
Chase Elliott didn't dominate a road course. I mean,
Martin Truex
It,
didn't dominate Sonoma.
we had a gun in there, 2 and 3.
I got something. I was
Okay.
reading. I saw two different numbers come up, but so there was a thread I was reading through on Twitter that the garage was saying that the Chevrolets have managed to find 16 extra horsepower at tracks. And then I saw another one say Rodney Childers said that they found 6 more horsepower at normal tracks. But either way, apparently Chevy's found a way to get more horsepower out of their cars.
I've heard something about that too, from somewhere.
And I was like, okay, well, I mean, you see what they're doing right now, and it kind of makes sense.
Uh, yeah. I mean, Chevy specifically. Hendrick has found something big time. That's for sure.
Honestly,
They're
it wouldn't surprise me though those rumors were false and it's just all on Chad Knaus being the competition director.
I
Because of how god tier that
you
man is. I mean,
you'd think it would be a more Chevy thing, but it's kind of like HMS only, right? Like, yeah, Chip Ganassi had a good run, but
well, I mean, I guess you gotta think about it. Those rumors probably are true because like nobody really expected RCR to be where they are, or even Trackhouse. And like on a consistent basis, Trackhouse and RCR are running above where you think they should be.
Yeah.
yeah, but Chip Ganassi's below where you'd think they would be.
Honestly, Chip Ganassi's equipment has been not great for the last couple of years now. So
It's worse than it was though this season.
I don't think it's an engine thing for Chip Ganassi. I think their chassis and stuff is just not good.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Uh
but yeah,
you guys want?
there's not really a whole lot to go on about that, other than I heard that there's a rumor that that might be a thing. But before we really move on from the broadcasting, uh, Jeff Gordon, so
Uh,
he is debating or considering potentially leaving the Fox booth. By the way, this weekend is the last Fox broadcast of the year, so that's good. We'll have NBC
boy, are
after
they
that.
going? Boy, are they going out with a
Bang.
whimper. The biggest
But
whimper imaginable. But
Jeff
yeah.
Gordon potentially weighing his options to be out of the booth at the end of this year because he could be taking on a larger leadership role at Hendrick Motorsports next year. So something we already knew was coming. I don't know how much of a role he would be given, but I mean, obviously large enough to take it serious enough to be not even bothered with the booth. But I mean, what do you guys think about it?
Please leave.
Actually, okay, this year he's done a good job in my opinion.
I won't be as harsh as Karma, but I do agree. I think he'll be better doing that than he is a commentator. I have never liked Jeff as a commentator ever. I've said that from the beginning.
He's
He's
really
just
bland.
I
yeah.
think
But
um,
but I've discussed his major flaw that I'll get into after Gary.
I was just gonna say I think Jeff Gordon and Chad Canals together though running that thing.
Powerhouse, absolute powerhouse.
Like I don't, that would be I don't know how you beat Hendrick.
Especially with the driver lineup they have now, and poised look like they're gonna have that driver lineup for the next like 5 or 10 years. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
that
yeah. I mean, they went through, like 4 or 5 subpar years or whatever, but they're making
so
up for
far
it
for
now.
Hendricks
Yeah,
expectations, anyways.
and now they're making up for it because I mean they're just unbeatable right now. I mean, 4 races in a row they finished 1-2.
At
So
least.
And
yeah,
this is like early 2000s. Hendrick is back, or like mid 2000s, I guess, decade wise, if you want to call it that. Like the 05 range in that area, like that Hendrick is back right now. It seems.
but
Yeah.
Matt, you said you wanted to talk about something, or
Yeah. So my biggest problem with Jeff Gordon in the booth, and I think you guys are gonna agree with me. I get it's hard just because of who he is, but my God, the Hendrick bias is awful.
I disagree, to be honest with you.
I
I've heard him
I think
say many great things about other teams and what they're doing, and honestly, like I haven't, like I'd say at the beginning, yeah, but like I think he's done a good job really toning it back
I think
compared to what it
I
used to be.
I think also recently it's appearing more recently just because Hendrick's dominating, but it just feels like to me is he just wants to talk about Hendrick, and it's kind of annoying.
I mean, honestly, like if I'm already, I mean, he's already got a bit of a leadership role over there, right? Like
Yeah,
I'm gonna want to talk about what we're doing. I mean, look at the team right now; they're
yeah,
just destroying everybody.
yeah. And I mean, another annoying thing was with Dakota when Chase won. He was literally there 10 minutes after the race was called in victory lane with Chase.
Yeah, but I mean, he's a
That,
part
that,
of the
that's
team, right?
that's yeah, but it's like to me that's like man,
I
you're
think
looking to get out of the booth before the broadcast was over.
that's Fox's fault, in my opinion, though, for taking him
Well,
on
yeah,
in that situation. So,
I'd rather
I,
see him at HMS. That pretty much as frank as that.
which I
I think
honestly
it's
I
a
think he
bit of
will be.
a. I think specifically to this year, it's a bit of a broadcasting issue as well. Like how Fox specifically does their broadcast. I think NBC probably does a little bit of this too, but this is the first time I've really kind of paid attention to it. And it's not so much. I mean, obviously there is some bias from Jeff, but I don't think it's so much him like being biased as much as it is Fox telling them what to talk about and like what team to talk about. Because when did they sit there and talk about the guy running 15th and like the kind of season he's having and stuff? No, they talk about the guy in first and second, and then
Yeah,
that's for the last like month. That's been Hendrick. So what else are they going to talk about? Because Fox doesn't have them touch on anything else besides the leaders. Literally nothing else gets talked about in the race besides the dude who's in first.
And unless like
They,
Chase
they don't
Elliott's
talk
having
about
a rough
anything
day.
else, and it's one of the most frustrating
yeah,
things. It's one of the most stupidly frustrating things because in F1 we have the amazing broadcasts of the cameras showing all the cars and they're talking about multiple different drivers and
yeah.
everything. And then in NASCAR, it's we focus
Could
on the top five and that's it. Everybody else is
yeah,
ignored.
could you imagine how bad F1 broadcasts would be if it was done by Fox? We would have literally been watching Max Verstappen the entire race, and that would have been
Yeah,
horrible to watch.
yeah.
Look how good Max Verstappen is. He's got a 6-second lead.
Yeah, we
Cool.
wouldn't have
Who
heard
cares?
about
I don't
any.
want.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
wouldn't
no,
have
no.
heard about
I'm like,
anything else in the race either. Like no
I'm
other
like,
things going on.
cool. I don't care. Cool. He's leading. Max is my favorite driver. I don't want to watch Max with a 6-second lead. I want to watch. I want to see action.
Yeah,
Which they show in
I think that's
F1.
honestly just a Fox thing too.
Yeah.
They show all the mid-pack battles going on.
Yeah.
And when
When
there's a
Lance
restart, the
Stroll ain't
cameras
cutting
are
in.
extremely zoomed out, and you can see the entire field, and they let the entire field go through a turn before they change the camera again.
Yeah.
And then they do that. They do zoom in as well, but it's
Yeah,
not
but like
anywhere like near what NASCAR is doing on a consistent,
It feels much
constant
more.
basis.
it's also not when cars are side by side and battling each other.
Yeah. I mean F1's better. End of story.
Yeah.
But broadcast aside, okay. By the way, they hang a Toyota truck at Sonoma Raceway. By the way, on like a crane.
Yeah.
And it was just like me and Jay noticed that when we were doing our NR race, and then we were watching the race on Sunday, and we realized that's a real thing. We're just like,
Yeah.
what the heck's going on here? Like that thing falls, crushes a car. Like, could you imagine?
I don't think it's above the track though.
Well, either way, I mean, what the heck are they trying to do?
Yeah,
They don't even look at it on the broadcast.
Advertisement.
I called it. That's where Kyle Larson's spotter was, and that's why he was leading the race and had such a big advantage. That was his specific spotter stand.
Um,
But
late
there's still more
stuff.
more NASCAR stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we got a couple more NASCAR things to go about here. The plate package is changing.
Oh boy.
Terrible decision. Although obviously we don't know what the race is going to be like, but NASCAR's reduced the speeds here before, and that gave us what we currently have. So I'm not thinking it's the end of the world here. So
I don't think.
I don't
I don't
really
think
think
so.
there's going to be much of a difference other than the speeds, and that won't be much either. You know,
Uh, I mean, 10 miles an hour is quite the difference.
is that what it's supposed to be?
It's 7 to 10 miles an hour,
Okay.
approximately.
Well, either way, I
But
think they overreacted once again.
Yes.
Yeah. All I really think they needed to do is they added that like extra roll bar in the chassis or something.
That's a good move. Um,
The
Doing stuff
thing
like that is always a good move. But I mean, also people on Twitter and the social media in general, way overblowing this horsepower thing. Like they're saying, "Oh, this is the end of NASCAR, reducing horsepower again." When they fail to realize, when they actually had restrictor plates, the horsepower we're going to be running now is pretty comparable to what it was.
uh-huh.
Well, the thing that I don't like about it is if NASCAR is doing this as a reaction to the Joey Logano wreck,
They are.
I
That
I
was
don't
confirmed.
think they know how physics works then. Because it doesn't matter what package is on the car, the way that car got hit, it's going over no matter what. It got hit square on the side as it's spinning and all the air was lifting it up. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
I
There's no way that car doesn't flip in any other situation.
I think if Joey didn't make
Like it
such a
doesn't
big
matter the
deal out of it,
package.
I think if Joey didn't make such a big deal out of it, nothing would have happened.
It shouldn't matter how big of a deal he made out of it. They fucking should know how physics work and how these cars are supposed to work, and they should know that no matter what, that's going to happen, no matter what package is on the car. And it's so stupid of NASCAR to react the way that they are to something that would happen no matter what. If we go to Daytona later this year and have the exact same crash, and somebody gets hit in that exact same spot, they're going to flip too. It doesn't matter what is on the car; they're gonna flip when they get hit like that. We've seen it several times that a car flips when they get hit like that, square in the side. It's just gonna happen. NASCAR is stupid for reacting to it that way, and I'm not like I'm not gonna sit here and say that it's the end of NASCAR because they're reducing the horsepower. I
Yeah.
just think it's a really dumb decision because they're reacting the way they are to something that had no effect on the way that the package was. Like
I'm just tired of
that's part that I find stupid. There's no point to making these changes. If there was an actual wreck that could have been avoided by changing the package, sure, change the package, but there wasn't.
and I'm just tired of them also just making these changes during the season.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
when it comes down to a safety thing, which is what NASCAR is doing this for, then I see it. But if like there wasn't a safety concern
the
with this
only
one,
safety
the car
addition
is
they
flipping
needed to
over no
do
matter
was the
what.
roll bar or the roof bar.
And maybe the wicker bill because the wicker bill was making the bigger runs. But I personally am really sad to see that go because God, those cars look cool with the wicker bill. Holy crap! It was like a wing, and I loved it.
Now
And I never wanted it to go away, and I'm sad that it's gone.
I wonder if that's going to affect the racing though.
It will, because
It will.
that was what brought the big runs, because it created so much
I
drag
mean,
that the car in front.
they're not. They're not reducing spoiler size, so I don't think it can be.
No, the runs are still going to be there, but the
Yeah.
the wicker bill definitely created a lot bigger runs because it punched that big diagonal hole in the air.
I think the Wicker Bill was more of a like yeah, it created huge runs, but it was more of actually just a parachute for the guy in front.
Yeah,
Not it wasn't for run developing. It was literally just
no,
to
no,
make sure that he was.
that's what it was developed for, was to help slow the car down, and it wound up creating really huge runs that
And it looked beautiful.
it did. Oh my god, I loved it.
Now we don't have it anymore because Joey Logano got sad that he didn't win.
That he wrecked when he's normally the most aggressive one at plate tracks and is causes those wrecks all the time, and he doesn't ever say a word unless he's actually involved in one.
No, I think the real issue with plate racing is not the package; it's the drivers. But
Yes, I mean if they were all
That's
courteous
partly
and
true. That's partly true.
just don't crash.
yeah,
Moving on from Joey Logano ruining our plate package for the year. Shocker there, he always ruins something. 2311 Trackhouse, possibly both looking to expand next year. Thoughts?
I mean, I don't think it's possible. I think it's guaranteed they're going to
I
expand next
I
year.
think
I don't know about Trackhouse, but
Yeah, Trackhouse is definitely the more questionable one, but I think 23 XI is definitely expanding,
well,
and
like
then Trackhouse
Trackhouse.
is probably like a 70%.
Yeah, like I look at them, I'm like, at first I'm like, okay, well, we got to focus on getting one car competitive first, right? But at the same time, if you're going to expand really early on, next year is really the perfect year to do it.
Yeah, yeah. To be fair, when you expand to more cars, you get more data, and that's how you get more competitive. When you're running a single car team, no matter how good that team is, you're not going to be able to get as competitive if you run multiple cars. You'll be able to get more data and stuff like that, and be able to develop more stuff, try different things out on both cars at the same time, all that kind of stuff. So, I think we'll probably see them both expand to 2 car teams next year.
And yeah, so Kurt Busch has actually, I guess, mentioned that he's talked to both 2311 and Trackhouse.
yeah.
What do you guys think is the more likely candidate for him?
Not Trackhouse. 23 XI.
I don't know. Trackhouse is winning the Chevy camp still.
But man, you know how much money Toyota throws into the NASCAR, man. That's gotta be so enticing.
That's true.
Um, I think, and there was always that one report from the Athletic that it was going to be 23 XI. So that's my belief.
Well,
And
I
how
think that
long
was
would he even
before
be there?
the Trackhouse started looking at expanding too. So you never know. I don't know.
But you don't
I
know. That could have just came out today, or we don't know how long they've been talking about expanding and this stuff. You know.
Yeah.
So
Now you look at uh, if Trackhouse 23 both expand to 2 cars, okay, there we got 2 extra cars. Colleague a third car. Dale Jr.'s talked about entering a Cup team. That's 4 new cars right there.
Which gets me excited.
I
and
think
you
that
realize
they
you're buying
have to
36 starters.
legitimately raise the limit to 43 cars again.
Mm-hmm.
Thing
I'm
is the
feeling that
charters
too.
may not matter for those new teams if they're getting good enough. I mean, if you think about those teams, an expanded 23XI, expanded Trackhouse, Juniors team, and then Colleague. The only one you think of that might struggle is Colleague. Those other 3, they would have good enough stuff to beat out some of the lower tier charter guys to
Yeah.
get into the race to be
Oh
able
yeah,
to make the
Junior will
field.
have Hendricks, so
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting.
I hope it happens. I hope all of these happen to be.
So do I. So do I. It also gives more room for guys to go to competitive rides. You
Yep.
know.
Well, semi-competitive. Trackhouse ain't that great right now
Well,
yet.
yeah,
But
they're not going to be competitive right away, but eventually, a chance for them to go to
yeah,
to a team that's new and can be competitive in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Because they'll be competitive because they'll certainly be better than some of these other teams that are out there. So they could probably run at least top 20 or somewhere in the 20s, and that's considered competitive at the moment in the Cup Series. So
Yeah, because people will continue to say Eric Almirola is a very competitive driver. 20th in points, by the way.
yeah, he was doing all right last weekend once again. Speaking of points, Denny Hamlin's point lead is down to 47.
I'm starting to grow some concerns in the Hamlin camp of not obviously not like falling off a cliff, but I'm feeling like it might be a while before they actually win a race at this point.
I would say honestly, I have zero concerns right now because I mean he's been at tracks where he's not known to do well as of late. So like I'm not shocked at all. Coda, obviously, we had no idea. Charlotte, he's never really had a chance to be up in the mix and win that race, and he still finished top 10. Sonoma, he's went for a win there once, and other than that, he's been subpar. And once again, was lived up exactly to that this weekend. So I think where do they race next time? I don't even know. Pocono?
Nashville.
It's Nashville, so
Oh,
that's
Nashville. Yeah, who knows?
that's a
You
question.
don't even know about that one.
All right, I guess the real test is Pocono, the Pocono
Yes.
doubleheader.
If he's not in the top 5 at Pocono, then there's something wrong.
Yeah. We'll leave it as that. But I'm not like, oh, red flag. That's like, it seems like they've fallen off a little bit. So,
Yeah.
I, actually being concerned about just straight up not winning, I'm actually believing at this point Harvick will not win a race this year,
I would
unless
agree.
um unless SHR turns it around.
I don't think they will. I mean, Harvick will make the playoff.
Yep,
But
he'll probably make a halfway decent run into the playoffs.
I
But
think he honestly, like, I think he's the type of guy that can find his way into the round of 8.
yep,
It'd be, I think, tougher than it's ever been for him. But I think he can find his way there. But at this point, he'd be lacking so many playoff points, he'd be forced to win anyways. So,
yeah, that's my belief.
and I
And
mean, look at
yeah,
the playoff line right now. DiBenedetto's first guy out, 60 points below, which leads us. Jay, Mr. Cook, how we doing? Heard there was a change over there recently, I believe.
I'm fucking throwing a party. I am so happy. Ah, Greg Irwin finally got fired, and I can be happy again. Oh my God, it came 2 years too late to fire that man. Um, Obviously, from a competitive standpoint, glad he's gone. But from obviously wish him the best and hope that he finds a job somewhere. He was not the guy to be a crew chief for that team. It did not work out well, and he did not help that car at all during races. It always the setup was wrong. It went in the wrong directions in the race, always, no matter what. And so I guess I'll eat my shoe a bit if the performance does not improve. And obviously it'll be true that DiBenedetto also had a hand in why that team is struggling. But I fully believe that that team will turn it around. They'll start looking more competitive. I don't know if they'll be going for wins. I don't think they're a good enough team to win. But hopefully they'll start looking more competitive now, and then maybe sneak their way into the playoffs on points. But dear God, finally Greg Irwin is gone.
I think DiBenedetto and Busher end up swapping at the end.
no,
I think at first I was like 60 points, and I was like, oh god, like, and then I was looking like 63, 82 for the other guys. I was like, man, they're all screwed. But then I was like, oh, there's still 10 regular season races to go.
Yeah, there's a bunch
So that
there,
that
and you can
is,
make up a
yeah,
ton of points in a
that's a
race if you
good
have a
chunk
really
of
good
time.
race.
That's a good chunk of
So
time still. If I'm 60 points out, I don't hit the panic button until 6 races, 5 races left. Um,
yeah,
so they got time. Now, 80 points out, it's like, okay, you got to get on it right now. Otherwise, you're in a must win. And then if you're the guys that are like 90 to 100 out, I mean, you have to win, obviously. So I think Bubba on down, guaranteed, has to win right now. Unfortunately, that means Suarez too. And I can tell you right now that win is not coming from Trackhouse anytime soon, unless maybe at
well,
Daytona.
yeah, Daytona is a wild card in it all. So you're not out until that race ends.
That's where
Or
DiBenedetto is going to come in. He's been so close to so many plate tracks. He's just going to come in clutch right there and just drop the dub. Calling it now.
and how many plate races
please
does he
don't
show?
call things like that.
Calling it now. He wins Daytona regular season finale.
And
If
that means he's not
if
winning just
something
because it's Gary.
yeah, if something
It's
dumb
already
happens
over, Jay.
here, I'm blaming it on Gary.
It's already over,
It's
Jay.
going to
Accept it.
happen.
When's the last time you had a prediction that was actually right, Gary?
I don't think he's ever had one.
Nah, I had one before.
All right, tell me it.
I think it was Lewis Hamilton winning a race or something.
An actual prediction that actually takes a little of a non F1 prediction.
I was like, Eric Almirola finished worse than 20th. That's usually pretty spot on this year. Think he did that again, by the way.
Yes, 27th.
Yeah, he's 27. Oh God, what's going on with him? That's unbelievable.
We say it every week. I hope he's not in that car next year. You can try to tell me 10 ways to Sunday, but he's 37, man.
I mean, I think, yeah.
He's had his.
I mean, he's only 186 out right now.
Yeah, and he's 50 points behind his next closest teammate.
Yeah, man, SHR so bad though. 26th, 27th, 28th. Go Custer hype, get it out of here. I have not believed in the hype since he replaced Suarez because I'm still salty about that. But right now, so
I didn't
glad Suarez is not with that team.
um and- hey, look, my prediction about freaking Briscoe was right. I told you he'd do nothing this year. And look, he's done basically nothing.
I thought he
People think
would be decent. He was not decent.
wow, it's almost like rookies don't do anything. And don't go Cole Custer one. Fluke, 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 fluke. Just like how every week for like the last 2 months, Christopher Bell's wins looking more like a fluke.
Yeah, he's actually not running very good in the points right now. He is
Last top 10 was Richmond.
Bell right now. If he did not have the win, would
He'd be
be
50.
33 points above the cut line.
Yep. All right, and this talking about like points and stuff and the stats, I guess. I can't. Michael McDowell has the same amount of top tens as Brad Keselowski.
Yeah, I didn't know that actually. Where's Kozlowski in the? Okay, 10th. Okay, I see that.
But still, what's going on here?
5 top 10s. Yeah, they both have 5 top 10s. And Kozlowski has 5 top 5s as well. So every time he's finished top 10, he's been in the top 5.
Yeah, but it's bizarre though, you know.
Yeah. And now
Um,
McDowell's had like a Daytona 500 and then a subpar season, and he's like acting like he's like the dude, like wrestling everyone around and stuff.
yeah. But like you said, I don't think Busher's gonna fall out, man.
Um, I think the Benedetto is going to race his way in over someone. One of him, Dylan or Reddick. Unlikely Dylan,
Not gonna be
but
Reddick.
I think it's going to be one of them.
But there's nothing there to say it's gonna happen. I mean, I
There's also
expect
nothing there to me that says that he's a playoff driver and that team is a playoff team. Like
I think it happens.
I kind of do as well. I
I
don't know.
mean, his average finish is 15th.
That's enough to be in a 16 playoff driver grid.
The best average finish outside the playoff is 18th.
What a Benedetto. You said Busher's 15th.
Yeah.
He's still going to lose to Benedetto. Calling it.
Better,
Another prediction right here. Benedetto beats Busher into the playoffs.
better average finish than Alex Bowman and Tyler Reddick. And
I'm not
Christopher
going to
Bell.
call De Benedetto getting into the playoffs until I see at least 2 races with the new crew chief and see how the team performs.
And talking about the crew chief change, it was genius to do it now. It was genius. You get a free race.
True.
You get
They
a
were
free
they were
race.
waiting until this week. They're like, let's just get through Sonoma. We'll do it then.
But besides that, I mean, like 60 points is still a lot of points.
It's
One
honestly,
race,
if you
it
think about
can
it,
be a
it's
tie.
really not. You can get 60 points in one race.
You can. Is it going to happen with?
No, it
It's
won't.
always
I'm just saying,
possible.
if you logically, if you think about it, it's
It's
not that
possible.
much. It's really not.
As an Eric Jones fan, I didn't think 50 points with 10
Well,
races ago was a lot either.
but here's how I look at it. Okay, he has one race. It's still a lot of points. It's one race of points.
Mhm.
He's got 10 attempts to make it up.
He also has 10 attempts to lose the.
Yeah,
lose
it
one.
goes either way.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
it's like Busher has 10 races to potentially throw it away. De Benedetto has 10 races to potentially, make it up. But
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know which way it's going to go. I mean, obviously, I think we'll have a decent idea here in a few more weeks. But the Pocono doubleheader is going to be such a whirlwind because that goes so quick, and all of a sudden, 2 races gone.
Yeah. I mean, my personal opinion is the 16 in now are going to be the 16. The 16 in points would be the 16 in points unless there's a oddball winner.
Well, if the one car can keep on doing what they did in Sonoma consistently, I think he'd have a better shot than DiBenedetto. So, I mean, honestly, like, DiBenedetto and Kurt could find a way. Because Reddick's only got 7 more points than Buescher.
Yeah.
It is possible,
Like-
but it's going to be very hard.
But Reddick's looked good lately. Like I don't think it. He looked really good. His worst finish since Talladega is 19th, which was Sonoma. Then besides that, it was 12th at Darlington.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, but I don't know.
I don't think it's gonna be very interesting.
I think it'll get closer. So, well, I mean, we'll have a better idea in a month, basically. So, we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But before we move on, I guess from NASCAR, we do have the All Star race this weekend. We're not going to give our predictions here. We're just going to talk about Texas Motor Speedway, All Star race. Terrible idea. But to get Coda on the schedule, the format, I don't even know how to explain it. I mean, I'm just going to watch and whatever happens.
Let's just say we're inverting the field every like 10, 15 laps.
Yeah.
And yeah.
The only thing I am interested in is whoever the guy, I forget his name, that owns Texas. Gossage. Yeah, he said
an announcement. There's something.
He says they are going to do something with the race winner that's never been done in a NASCAR race before. That's all he said.
Yeah, there's something interesting after the race.
So I'm interested. I'm the only thing I'm interested in is like what happens after this race.
Yeah, because it really does feel like there's no hope for this race, right?
No, I mean they can mess up with the
horsepower. They're reducing the horsepower.
They're
going to the worst, arguably the worst track in the world for racing right now.
Spain exists.
Huh?
Spain exists. And
I'd rather watch. Monaco's better.
They're both kind of parades. Texas and Monaco are both parades.
But here's the thing. At least it makes sense at Monaco. You see how wide turn 1 and 2 are at Texas? It's a fucking mile wide. And guess what? You can only use 10 feet of it.
And they thought it was a great idea. They thought they were genius.
It is the worst track in America for sure. There is no question what is the worst track in America. It's Texas. The track is an embarrassment to the world of racing. And I get the idea of reducing the horsepower. The idea of reducing the horsepower is to make the cars go slow that they can just stick at full throttle no matter what.
Yeah,
that's the entire idea. Which, if it works, cool. I hope it works.
Are they trying to replicate kind of what they did with the All Star race that one year? Yeah, when they were trying to test out the future package.
I think so, and I hope it looks like that. I really do.
Yeah, that All Star race was solid.
But I don't think it's going to just because Texas is ass.
Well, yeah, the track's terrible. Like, imagine having that track that they did. Imagine being the guy that screwed that up. Like, I wouldn't be able to live that down.
Like Eddie Gossage?
Yes, yeah, basically.
Let's put it this way. You don't often hear drivers after a race be like, who the hell engineered this racetrack? Who built this? What did they do? Like, the drivers actually, like the first few times again, I was like, who made this? This is awful. You don't hear that about many tracks at all. And many drivers came out like soon after the repeat, like they said that this is awful. You don't hear that about other tracks.
I remember like the drivers gave Kentucky a hard time, but that was just with the PJ1.
Yeah,
that's the only other instance I can think of.
Yeah, but like they're not criticizing PJ1 here. They're criticizing the track's complete ass.
Track's terrible. I don't get like, was there not? I mean, like I wonder, because I know the new Auto Club track. They are actually working with NASCAR and iRacing and building models on there to test the racing. Like, if only they could have done that with Texas beforehand.
Oh man, it's so bad, guys. You don't even understand. It's terrible to drive in iRacing too, man. It's 1 and 2 is god awful.
The track's terrible to drive in real life and on any video game it exists in.
Yeah. I guess they did announce the top 5 in the fan vote right now. If that means anything to you guys.
Suarez is in it, right?
So the top 5, no order: Briscoe, Matty D, Eric Jones, Suarez, Wallace. It's Bubba, guys.
I'm
Simple as that.
surprised Briscoe's in there.
So my theory of what the order is: it's Wallace, Matty D, Eric Jones, Suarez, Briscoe.
You put Jones above Suarez? Gary, call it right now. Another prediction: Suarez beats Jones in that vote. Guarantee it. Guarantee it.
We don't know the results, so
Here, see, this is the point.
They don't say the results.
Oh,
That's
well,
the thing.
this is the point that it's gotten to for myself and actually all three of us as NASCAR fans is our drivers are in the All-Star fan vote. That's what we're relying on. So like, man,
Yeah.
I mean, Matty D can race his way in. His car's well qualified enough to win a stage in the.
I think Suarez can find a way.
Yeah, Suarez probably can too, honestly.
Okay.
Jones, maybe, you never know.
Well, Reddick's on the pole for the Open, so he's definitely gonna get it.
He's gonna win the
Reddick's
first
gonna
stage.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Unless you can't. All right. Whoever wins the first stage is the one that comes off turn 2 in the lead. There you go.
Honestly, I'm surprised that Reddick isn't in the top 5 for fan voting.
So I was surprised, and I looked at a few drivers, and just skimming through the top 5 are also the 5 with the most Twitter followers. So, and that's also where my order comes from too: Wallace, Matty D, Eric Jones, Suarez, Briscoe, of what I think the order is, and that's the order of Twitter followers.
I mean, I think it's easy that Bubba has it. I don't think.
Oh
There's
yeah,
any chance any other driver.
there's no
You could probably
chance.
combine De Benedetto's and Eric Jones or Daniel Suarez's votes, and it still wouldn't match Bubba's. Honestly,
It's like when Elliott had his.
Put it this way: you can combine all 4 of their Twitter followers combined, it would still be less than Bubba Wallace.
Well, there you have it. Bubba's winning the fan vote.
Unless he wins a stage in the
and then it would go to the second one in line, which
would be Matty D.
Yeah, likely.
And then it would go most likely to Eric Jones, but I wouldn't be surprised if Suarez is ahead of him.
Yeah, hopefully Suarez just races his way in. I'll have to wait and see what happens there with that. But
I hope Eric races his way in too. So
yeah, the race is gonna suck.
we don't know the rules.
Yeah, we really don't. It's just like they're just gonna do stuff, and they're gonna come back from commercial, and the cars are gonna be in different positions. The next month
getting inverted. That's all I know.
The next month of NASCAR racing, we got Texas Motor Speedway All-Star Race. Don't know what to expect at Nashville. Personally,
I have a feeling Nashville will be decent.
Okay, so I guess I'll talk about Nashville for a second, real quick, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
It was put on iRacing today. I've done some test laps. If it's anything like iRacing, it's probably going to be a bit wild.
Okay.
Literally, in terms of grip, we have no grip.
Oh,
remember,
no.
It's 750.
That's what I like. That's the type of iRacing I like right there.
All right.
Type of real life racing I like too.
So, it took me about 20 minutes to go like 3 laps without spinning out. Let's just put it that way. There is no grip. It's the 750 package. Remember that. So that alone makes it going to be exciting. Yeah. It's flat. It's concrete. Regardless of what you think of the track, it's always exciting to go somewhere new.
Am I wrong in thinking that Nashville's not has a banked front straightaway? Am I wrong thinking that?
It's a little banked.
Okay.
No. It's probably like 6 degrees or something. It's not much. Yeah, and there'll be a lot of usage of the brakes too, because like in iRacing, you're almost like 180 going down the front, and you have to go to like 130. So, I expect that to actually be pretty decent. So
Off throttle time, Pog.
Well,
yeah.
then after that, you got Pocono back to back. Okay, it's gonna be the worst
Road
week in
America.
NASCAR of the year.
There's the 500 miles of Texas in the playoffs.
Yeah, but
It's
they
a
don't got
tremendous
2 of those back to back days.
Yeah, we don't have
Yeah.
two Pocono or 2 Texas races, 2 Texas Cup races, along with the Xfinity and Cup Series or
Like,
Xfinity and Truck Series.
Pocono. The fact that they
Two
were like,
Pocono.
the fact that they just couldn't at least take one off the schedule. They were like, you know what? We'll just run them both in the same weekend. Just
I
burn
mean,
the track down.
it was like a good experiment because it's a good track to do it for, because everybody kind of dislikes watching the track. So you try the doubleheader, see how it works for the teams, and see how it works for ratings and stuff.
Unfortunately, COVID happened, so we don't know the fan reception.
Yeah, but like you get those 2 races out of the way, and then you also like get to experiment with a doubleheader. And then I can see why they kind of kept it for this year, just because don't change the schedule up too much. Aside from adding some road courses, because A, we have new car coming next year. B, we have COVID, and C, we can change around the schedule a lot for next year,
Mm-hmm.
which is what they're
I'm
intending
actually
to do.
looking.
So
I'm looking at the schedule. Man, it's a pretty rough run to the playoffs, to be honest.
New Hampshire's in there.
Atlanta,
Atlanta. Yeah.
Michigan.
Midsummer Atlanta could be okay, but still, yeah, not expecting a great race out of that track.
Michigan's gonna be horrible.
But we do have
Oh
2
yeah,
road
Michigan.
courses.
Three.
3 road
3.
courses.
Indy. Remember, Indy's the road course.
Oh yeah, Watkins Glen's in there too. Okay, yeah, that's good.
Road
Oh, I love
America
road courses.
and Road America.
And then Daytona to cap it off. Hopefully, I don't know. We don't fully know, of course, with this new package, but and then playoffs start September the 5th at Darlington. So it's gonna be a off and on stretch to the playoffs. There's gonna be some very boring races in there. There's gonna be some really good races, I think, in there with the road courses, especially. But yeah, no, it's gonna be interesting to watch. But I guess
Summer days of NASCAR have arrived.
you know what? Summer NASCAR hits different than anything.
It does, man.
It just feels right, and especially when it's a summer NASCAR race ending at nighttime. Don't have that anymore, apparently. But
there's only one. There's only one that does that, and that's Daytona.
Woo! You know what though,
I
Daytona.
don't know why they got rid of so many night races.
It's nice that they kept Daytona though, because that just hits right in the
Mhm.
summer under the lights.
Yeah.
You know what's just funny? Daytona, Darlington, Richmond, Bristol, and Las Vegas. That's just 5 straight night races.
They go nothing all year to just boom. Here we go. Let's do a whole month of it.
Atlanta wasn't a night race. They are gonna murder those fans. Those fans. There's gonna be at least
But
10
my
that
team-
pass out from heat.
But my TV ratings.
Oh my god!
And then we got Phoenix
that
as the
night races
daytime.
are worse than daytime races for TV ratings. There's no way.
More people are home.
They're also more exciting.
Yes.
Everybody likes a night race.
Cooler temperatures works better for the package too.
Especially in Kansas.
Oh well, who cares?
That's the most egregious one.
Formula One.
Oh boy.
Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Beautiful. Absolutely glorious. That was a glorious race. Best race of the year. Without the crashes, may I mention. I'm not talking about Verstappen having his incident and Stroll spicing it up. No, that was just downright a good race without that happening.
I agree.
Actually, the Stroll and Verstappen crashes. Let's just get out of the way. Pirelli, you have questions to answer.
Man, their tires were good for 40 laps.
Apparently,
that's what
or allegedly.
Said.
But let me say exactly what the laps were. Stroll went 30, 29 actually. Boom. Verstappen went 32, but 5 of those were safety car. What happened?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think Pirelli's given an answer.
Screwed up there.
I did see one thing that they mentioned. They thought debris might have been the issue.
Shut up.
A part of the issue.
It could have been. They said it could have been, but they didn't. Like that to me was a bit of the commentators just speculating. It wasn't actually.
No, that was straight up from
Yeah,
Pirelli.
anybody from Pirelli. Oh well.
But
At least I
but
thought it was. But
I know what Gary's talking about, kind of. But yeah, it's not clear. I don't think there's been an answer given.
yeah, they won't.
Considering the way that both tires blew out, literally the exact same. If you look
Way
at the onboards where they're just driving along and all of a
and
sudden the car
boom.
just snaps
Yeah,
for both drivers, it's like that screams tire issue to me.
and this isn't, and it's no joke because it's the fastest thing in F1 is that straightaway,
Yeah.
and completely unacceptable to happen. Like
I also
if it was just the one incident and it was actually debris, it happens. But you had two incidents that were basically identical, and it's just not acceptable.
they also need to throw the safety car way
Oh my god!
quicker.
Oh my god! The Stroll one was so bad.
I
It
saw
was
the
like
one on
literally
Reddit
a minute.
though. When Verstappen, just one quick point, when Verstappen crashed, they were
Yes, I
showing
seen that.
both Gasly and Tsunoda never even lifted.
Yeah, Lando as well.
It's just like, what the heck?
What was going on?
They know that they have to. They know their only option is to throw the safety car to get that car out of there. Why they wait so long? The guy's at risk, and they're like, we're just gonna wait when we know we're gonna throw
Yeah,
it anyways. It don't make no
yeah.
sense.
Frankly, it was. Yeah, that was also pathetic. No way to put it around. I don't know what the FIA were doing. Could have legitimately get someone killed doing that because it's the racer's blood. If the green flag's out, you go.
Yeah,
So,
like Stroll was not in a good spot. Like,
no, no, Max wasn't in a good spot.
yeah,
It was terrible, 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 terrible job. But let's actually get into the good stuff, the racing.
glorious. Okay, start was good.
This,
Perez with a monster start.
yes,
Dude
that
was
was
on
so
fire.
critical.
Yes,
It was so to get the fourth by the turn 3 was critical, and let's just yeah, it was great.
and I predicted. I said I could very well see Bottas not being top 5 in the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
well,
I was
like
right.
I said, I wouldn't be surprised either way, right? Let's be honest, we didn't expect that.
Well, yeah, we didn't expect the top 3 we had. Although we all agreed that Perez was going to be in the mix.
Yeah, no, I'm saying the Bottas. We didn't expect. I don't think we expected.
Oh, one of the worst races of his whole career.
With Mercedes, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we expected that bad.
He was like, I didn't even realize he was in the race. Didn't do anything.
I think it was hilarious. There was that one radio signal to him. It's like, "Hey man, you gotta push to get past Lando. We're trying to get 5th here." Dude, this guy's been 10th for the last 20 laps. Are you joking? Mercedes, are you actually joking? Your driver can't overtake a car if his life depended on it. And then this one restart, he just pedestrianly let 4 drivers by.
The last one?
That thing where like 4 drivers drive by him.
Mm-hmm.
Literally in a 50-second clip. I think I just watched the man's career end.
Yeah, I mean, there is no chance Bottas is at Mercedes next year.
Honestly, if it's frankly a performance like that, if it happens again, that I don't think Mercedes would do it. But performances like that get you fired.
I think if he's a Red Bull driver, he'd be out mid-season. I mean, there was rumors, remember, earlier, that Mercedes was considering a switch, but I think the way Mercedes is that they live up to keeping him for the year.
I agree, but this is the second time we've seen this season where he just can't even get in like the top 10. It's bizarre. It's weird. Embarrassing. Yeah.
And it's kind of sad to see such a awful performance for the dude, but he consistently just underperforms. I mean, I don't see him winning any Grand Prix this year.
No.
Unless something goes crazy, and I mean, I mean, every once in a while he kind of shows up and he just drop a huge
Yeah.
pole lap and then run away with the race. But I don't see anything like that happen right now because
I
he doesn't even have top
honestly,
three speed.
honestly, it feels like the Vettel situation last season already, where it's just like he's just not there at all mentally. Like
Yeah.
that race mentally, like that restart where he just gets passed by four guys. That was something I expected out of Vettel last season. Just like he's just not there mentally at all, and I don't know what's going on. Because I think we're all here. Where Valtteri ain't that bad.
No, I mean, like you put him up against majority of the field, he can outrace him in an even car.
Yeah,
But like, would I put him in? I would
he's
like.
not.
He's not better
He's like
than Hamilton or Verstappen or Leclerc
he's
and
he's
them.
around
But
like the 10th to 12th best driver
yeah,
in the
like
grid.
he'd be a midfield. If everybody had an even car, he'd be right in the midfield.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So. Yeah. I like.
Thing is,
Yeah.
midfield driver in the best car should be able to go for a podium and win the occasional race, which he has done in the past. But this
Yeah.
year, he can't figure it out. And I agree. I didn't think about it, but it does really remind me of Sebastian last year.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, Sebastian was just
I.
destroyed mentally, and I mean, it's
Yeah.
so easy to tell. Like, especially, I don't know what it is about F1, but it's so easy to tell when they're just
Mhm.
off mentally.
Honestly, I think he knows he's already gone. Like, there's a thing that's telling me they've already told him.
Yeah, and like
I have a
that's
feeling they've
that's
been
what
told.
got him right, you know.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's very possible that he was told that last year.
Yeah.
He would be here for this
After
year, and then
Bahrain,
finally,
after Bahrain.
They're like, yeah, we're gonna keep you around for one more year, but then George is getting your car.
Yeah. So
But to bring up one more thing, are you guys done with that topic? I wasn't paying attention that much.
yeah, I'm
I
done
was
with
looking
the
up something.
Valtteri stuff.
Okay, so I remember I got a notification about it, and then I had to look it up to find it to get the exact quote. Did you guys see what Pierre Gasly said after the race on Sunday? That I thought was
Something.
pretty comical.
I know what this is.
I
Yeah,
did
it's pretty
not.
funny. Oh,
I
it's
don't. At
pretty
least
good.
I don't think I did.
So he was doing his or his post race interview, and he got asked about the final restart, and his exact quote was, "Is the Americans took over, so I really wasn't surprised that we got that we go first with the entertainment." Basically saying that like Liberty Media, like since they own F1, and then also got the new race director in there, like he wasn't surprised that they decided to go with a standing restart for
uh,
entertainment for the end of the race, and that that's why stuff happened.
I mean, I was all for it though.
I thought that was pretty comical.
I thought it was
Um,
funny.
yeah.
I mean, he's
I
right
mean,
though.
it's been consistent, but it is he. But he's not necessarily wrong because if you
No,
think
he's
about
not.
it, because if you like from a like yeah, it was for seemingly entertainment purposes, but the standing start it's been consistent the last 2 years. If there's a red flag, standing start,
Yeah,
and
no,
that's
I
been
agree.
consistent.
I sort of like when he saw the red flag immediately. I'm like, oh, that's a standing start, right? Like
Yeah,
F1's been extremely consistent with that. I haven't seen a red flag without a standing start.
yeah.
Um, which
Yeah,
red
they have the
flags,
option to do a rolling start,
yeah. Um,
and I don't think we've seen them do that in the last several
well,
years.
red
Yeah,
flags really haven't been a thing, and then all of a sudden last year, just time and time again, they just start coming
yeah.
now.
We had 3 standing starts at Bonzo last season,
Yeah, it's
and then we had one
unbelievable.
at Imola this season for the Bottas Russell crash, and then we had another one this weekend.
But I guess it's
Uh,
like, not only does it give us that exciting restart, but it also still does allow more actual racing. You
Yeah,
know?
their goal
yeah,
obviously is to get the race complete. You don't want to see it end under a safety car, which I guess is probably a little bit of a different feeling for F1 drivers, just because that's never really been the thinking. That's always kind of been like a NASCAR way of we have to get the race in and make it finish under green and stuff. Um,
yeah,
but like I agree with that way of thinking because like you don't want to see a race finish under caution. If you can do it in a safe way, why not have a restart?
yeah.
Should
I
it have been
agree.
a rolling restart? Maybe, but there needs to be some kind of restart there, and I don't disagree with that call there to go with the standing start.
Yeah, no, it was kind of expected.
Yeah.
First I thought the race was going to end under caution.
I
Yeah,
that
and
was
then
my first thought. Yeah,
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 I
I
thought it
thought.
was too, and then they immediately red flagged it, and
Yeah,
I was excited and
and
happy
then
when they did that.
I knew it was like, okay, we're probably gonna get a standing start. Um, but I think we should backtrack a little bit in the race because there's still some stuff I'm sure Gary wants to talk about in particular.
Sebastian
The
Vettel's
race.
a god. Okay, masterclass drive all day long.
Yep.
I mean, not the greatest starting position, P11, but it also helped us at the same time. We went a little bit long, not really long, like Stroll, of
Yeah.
course, but we
But you
pitted.
led laps.
Yeah, we led some
Vettel led laps.
laps. I was like, oh my god! And first of all, you can just tell Sebastian's in so much, in a way better place right now than what he ever was in the last few years at Ferrari,
Yep.
and it's
He
showing.
honestly looks like Red Bull Vettel again. Like even the
Or
whole
like
time in
early,
Ferrari. Well,
2018 early season Ferrari, he looked great.
but still, he never looked to be the chipper and like really enthusiastic Vettel he kind of used to be with Red Bull. I think that's a bit of just how Ferrari expects you to act as well. You know, they're how Ferrari is. They're really finicky about everything.
But
Yeah.
But like he genuinely seems stupidly happy.
things were
Well,
just going great though.
man, you would have been happy with like 5 laps to go in those, man. You would have been happy with
Dude,
fourth, man.
I was like, this is great, because
You
we
said
had
fourth,
the first safety car with Stroll's
and he got
crash.
and he got a couple spots off that.
Great pass on Leclerc, wasted no time. I'm like, this is
Yeah.
great. We're gonna get a top 5. His worst finish at Baku's fourth. And since they've started going there, and it went into the weekend, I was like, yeah, that's gonna change this weekend. Did not change. So, and then that last restart, all of a sudden, boom! Who is the one that had that soft tire available to put on? Sebastian Vettel. And I was like, holy crap, we might have a chance to win this race.
I don't think I would win. It was
I mean, the Red Bull is just too fast. I mean,
yeah.
even with the
I
fresh
mean,
tires,
Other
he couldn't
teams
run them
had not
down.
been able to go to softs, or if their softs had been a
yeah,
couple laps older, it probably would have went Vettel's way. But
but yeah. So besides that, there was good action throughout the entire race. So I guess we should
yeah,
talk about the last restart now.
Lewis,
The funniest, truly the
break
funniest thing was
magic.
no. Yeah, we'll get into the break man. But when before they start rolling like to go like a formation lap, he's like, "I'm thinking big picture here, guys. No big risk."
Yeah.
And in the first turn, yow.
So I had no idea what break magic was until this weekend,
Yeah,
um, which I found very fascinating. But I guess basically it's a button that moves the brake bias. So without it on, his his front brake bias was at like 50 something
point
percent,
one. Yeah,
50.1. And
something
then,
like that.
so he did not mean to hit this button, I guess. He accidentally turned it on, and didn't know. So it went
Yeah,
up by like 30%.
yeah. His front brake bias was at around 85%.
So
go.
you can see why what happened.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm gonna sound like a dick, but I'm glad it happened because
Oh,
if Lewis won that race, I would have
Championship
lost it.
over.
I
dude.
would have lost. It wasn't about the championship at all to me. It was just
Well,
like,
yeah, it would have been also another just straight up luck.
I'm just
Hamilton
like,
win.
I'm just like, it happened again. It
Yeah,
happened again. A race that Hamilton has no business winning, he's gonna win.
Yeah.
It
Um,
would like I like Hamilton. I think he's
he's
a
a
great,
great
unbelievable,
ambassador for Formula One.
great personality too. I think he's got a great personality too. Even though he seems boring, there's a lot to him.
Yeah, oh, yes.
But also after the fact that yeah, thank God it happened too, just so this championship isn't over.
That was my first thought when Verstappen went out. I was like, oh, Lewis is
yeah,
back up front.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that was my. I was like, man, Red Bull could have got a little bit of a nice, comfortable lead a bit in the championship, and then that happened. I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
And I mean, Bottas didn't do anything to help Mercedes in the constructors Sunday
Yeah,
there.
That's a
So
shame.
Red Bull's pulling out.
But yeah, so yeah, when you have 85% front brake bias, yeah, 100% gonna lock up no matter what you do. And then yeah, yeets the first turn and ends up finishing 15th
Behind Mazepin.
Hey, you know, Valtteri beat Hamilton this race, you know.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, he still beat Lewis, so therefore, I think he's honestly going to keep his ride.
Yeah.
Um,
But and also Vettel with a great start. Do you get second?
yes.
Oh, I guess in this case to keep second.
Avoiding Hamilton, basically.
Yeah.
Got him to second.
Also, great battle with Pierre and Charles for the
They were
last
going
podium spot.
at it.
Yeah.
That was great to watch.
Also, Pierre is a monster.
I said this in the party on Sunday, and I'll say it here too. Pierre Gasly in a normal race where nothing crazy happens, he runs and finishes like 8th. And Pierre Gasly, when there's a race with at least like one crash, he's suddenly on the podium. The man comes out of nowhere anytime anything small goes wrong for somebody up front.
Yeah, I mean, Gasly's so good, man. He's so good.
I tell you what, though, you put him back in the Red Bull, he's going to struggle.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't think you can put him in that Red Bull, no matter what.
No.
I hope Gasly leaves.
I think that's his only option.
It is his only option.
Well, otherwise,
what's to say that Toro Rosso doesn't improve to be a good contending team at some point?
Red Bull ain't gonna let that happen.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's true.
He needs to leave. He needs to leave if he wants to.
Like, I legitimately think, like, you put him in a Mercedes, he'd win a lot of races.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that's not going to.
Yeah, no, that's all taken up. But what if, I mean, when Hamilton goes and Mercedes can't find a way to pick up Verstappen, I'd go for Gasly. Because Leclerc, he ain't leaving Ferrari. Leclerc is a lifetime Ferrari driver, in my opinion.
Doesn't come through.
Norris seems pretty committed to McLaren, so best in line, in my opinion. I would go with Gasly right now as like Hamilton's replacement in a couple years or so.
I mean, Alpine, if Ocon doesn't come back.
I wouldn't go there, though.
But
yeah, I don't think Alpine's better than
I don't think so, but here's the thing. Alpine has a better chance of getting somewhere than AlphaTauri. AlphaTauri is going to be.
If they're not better,
it doesn't matter.
I mean,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but it's not guaranteed that they'll improve.
Not guaranteed, but
that's your only chance.
Yeah, Red Bull will not allow AlphaTauri. Like they wouldn't. It's impossible. It's kind of like for Haas or not fully Haas, but like Alfa Romeo. Like they can't get better really than Ferrari.
Like, all right, think of it this way. Think of it like Ricciardo. He left Red Bull because he knew Red Bull would not let him win a world title. Gasly knows if he Gasly's end goal is to win a world championship, right? You know,
as long as Verstappen's there, you can't get that.
Exactly. If you want it, you have to leave. It doesn't matter if a team is worse; it's your only option to have a chance. Because where Gasly is, no chance, zero, nada. Literally, Gasly's only chance, actually, would be literally Max Verstappen to just randomly retire, or for him to, as dark as it sounds, literally die.
I mean, as long as Verstappen's at Red Bull, like everyone's second in line.
Yeah,
you would basically have to settle for maybe click off a win or two here and there, but just be the backup to help with the constructors. Sergio
with a also great drive.
Yeah, I mean, nonetheless, obviously, like he was gonna finish second without it, but first of all, he still had to hang on to that win and fight for it. But no, he still ran a great race and was already on track for second. So
he held off Hamilton the entire race.
Yeah, no, he ran a great race.
Hey, I don't know if you saw me tweeting during this. I was like, "Who needs the second driver down, Mercedes?"
Yeah. That's the first
Um,
time since Ricardo has left Red Bull that the second driver has been able to back it up.
yeah,
So that's been a
people
long
were
time.
and the Perez haters are like
Perez
making fun of
haters
him.
are just absolute morons.
Well, they go Albon and Gasly didn't get a fair chance, and then Perez wins 6 races, and you're just like,
Yeah. They had
you were
I
saying,
mean, what Gasly and Albon had 1 year to get it, and all the combined there was one podium, and that was from Albon.
yeah,
Perez won a
no,
race in 6 races. It was
yeah.
funny.
I mean,
Perez said he needed 5 races to figure out the car. The 6th race he
yeah,
wins.
yeah. I mean, the win. Admittedly, the win is a little fluky. He was going to finish second. Let's
Yeah,
just,
even without that,
regardless.
he still did better than what any of them were able to do.
Yeah, but no diss on Gasly now because Gasly has developed into, I think, quite the driver now. But rip Albon. But yeah, no, it's. I was very happy for Perez just to be like, "Yep, you can shut everyone up now."
Yeah, no, that was cool. That was great. Even without the win in second place was still just like a in your face.
Yep,
But yeah, no, the race is good. Next, they go to where
I
do they
think it's
go?
France.
Yes, France is the next one. That's probably going to be a bit of a sleeper. But then we got back to back Austria. Looking forward to those quite a bit.
Yeah,
I usually enjoy the Austria races. So,
yep, it's a great track.
but yeah, we just got to kind of deal with France. That'll be in there. It'll be I mean, who knows? It could end up being a good race. Very unlikely, but we'll have to wait and see with that. But honestly,
Um, you
hopefully,
go,
what's that?
you finish.
I was just hopefully the title fight keeps on going the way it is.
And since we're kind of done with F1, let's talk about
Oh,
the
there
news in
was.
F1.
Okay, there was. Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up.
Singapore is gone.
Please come back
Tragically,
next year.
yeah.
It's not the greatest race, okay, but it is still my favorite race. Just because I think it's such a cool venue, location, and just spectacular, just sporting event, and just like
Yeah.
it's one of those ones that it's kind of like Monaco. It's like it's not a great race, but I can deal with it just because the event is so cool.
Yep. And the prospective replacement is a second Coda race.
No, thank you.
Did not know that.
Did not know that either. That's why I'm like, no,
Yeah,
no, 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 no,
yeah,
no.
yeah.
Coda
Yeah.
never. They can't even put on one good race.
Um, I mean, from a U.S. perspective, it's great to get just more F1 in the U.S., but
They could
Yeah.
put Canada in that slot right now because the COVID numbers are fine now.
it's not announced yet. It's just the like the thought, the one that was thought of so
Oh
far.
wait, Singapore's in October. Yeah, no, let's not do Canada. It could be snowing by then.
Yeah, so a second Coda race, so that would be
Yeah, good for the U.S. I mean, just good for North America
yeah,
exposure with F1. So,
yeah. And also, there was also a Roger Penske did make a comment about it as well, because there was talks like, well, what about Indianapolis? And Penske said no, it's not
yeah,
happening.
I wouldn't want to F1 like current days. I don't think belongs there.
No. Well,
I
no,
think
they're
they've
talking as a replacement race for.
yeah. It's just I think I don't think they'll ever even go there again. I mean, maybe 1 year, but it just doesn't seem like a fitting track for current day F1.
Yeah.
But I guess we move on now to before we end things and
Well,
predict. Oh,
there's a couple more things F1 was. Firstly, Williams already changed their
team principal's
the guy
gone.
who
Yeah.
is their team principal.
Today.
And so now
Surprise,
they have.
actually.
Yeah, it kind of surprising to me as well. It seemed like he only got a short amount of time to
I
prove
think this is the
himself.
best they've looked too in a couple years.
Yeah, that too. So like I don't really get why the change happened. I mean I know they they listed it as a full team restructure, but I don't really get the reasoning or need for it. Obviously, we know Williams, and they had to know going into owning the team, Williams was not going to be a competitive team. But they have looked better than they have in recent years. So I don't really get the point of maybe the guy wanted to not have the position anymore. I don't know, but so there was that. Then there's also Grosjean announcing he's going to do. This is obviously for mix of F1 and IndyCar. Grosjean announced he's going to do an oval race this year at Gateway now.
Yeah,
I
I
think
saw
that would be
that.
pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be
And then
nice.
he said he wants to do future oval races like the Indy 500 for IndyCar.
Could do a full schedule.
Yeah.
He's
So
only got to
that
do
way,
like 3 ovals to make it full. I mean,
at this point, yeah, IndyCar's really started going away from ovals again, which
I think
I
it's a bad
dislike
idea.
heavily. I do too. I love IndyCar oval races.
Yeah, no, I think that hurts. I think that'll hurt their
They tried
longevity.
that before. They tried it before and it didn't go well. And just they need to go back to more ovals again.
It's like they're an American-based motorsport too. It's like
Yeah.
they have to have an oval aspect in that. So,
Especially when they're so good. When then their races most of the
yeah.
time are really good on the ovals. So I mean, I don't get why they stopped doing them.
But
I think that's pretty much it. That all I had to say.
so I guess yeah. Before we do our final predictions for upcoming races, Nitro happened this past weekend at Watkins Glen. Andrew Wisdom won. Someone finished second. Connor. I finished third. And then you guys, I actually have no idea how you guys finished. So
I finished 10.
okay.
I had a very pedestrian drive.
Yeah, I think we were all lonely actually. Like I was lonely for the whole time,
Yeah.
pretty much until literally the last lap.
Yeah,
It was
stage
nothing.
3. I think
Yeah,
I was very lonely.
nothing really happened. Jay, what did you? Where did you finish?
17th.
Oh,
Rip.
Could have been in the top 10. Was looking pretty competitive, looking pretty fast.
Jay got taken out a lot.
Well,
I wasn't around him much because I was avoiding the crashes he was getting taken out in. But when I was around him, I was seeing the crashes he was getting taken out in. He was just an innocent bystander every time.
Single one. Never had a chance to get out of the back of the field. Then when we finally get a green flag run, I was hauling my way through, starting to make up towards the top 10, and then a lower series driver happened, and I wound up finishing 17th. So, yeehaw.
Woo! Where do we go next week? Or this weekend? I mean,
It's nothing but pain in Texas.
oh,
Oh,
why
we're
would
doing
you do that?
Texas.
Why would you put that on the schedule?
Who voted for
Why?
Texas?
I don't know. A lot of people voted for Texas.
Why?
Wait, people voted for it?
Yeah, every
Yeah,
track.
they vote for the schedule.
The top 20 track. These were the top 20 voted tracks out of everyone that actually voted. I told you could vote, Gary, but you never did.
This is literally news to me. I didn't even know there was a vote.
Yeah, there was, and that's what you get for not paying attention.
Yeah, that's what I get. Now I got to deal with this.
Yeah.
Well, I'm calling out everybody that voted for Texas.
Well, I think I was one of them.
Best part about it? Wait, I won last time we went there. I've won 2 Nitro races there now. But the best part about this,
I should have won the last one.
The track might suck, but Nitro League, the way we run these races is everyone's going to be fighting for that bottom, and they're going to be punting people. It's going to be great.
All over again.
Yep.
We're going to have another 7 rule changes.
Yeah, I can't wait for Gary to just completely forget about him and get black flagged and be like, "What?"
Yeah, I was worried about that at Watkins Glen. I was like, I'm going to forget something here. I guess Texas, the pit stop stuff is going to be the thing I'll have to remember.
Oh, man. I was practicing it earlier just to get a feel for it. It's not too bad, but it's still just like, man, it's weird.
I'm going to be making sure the pit stop stuff, if we have green flag pit stops, I'm going to be watching everybody that I can just to make sure I can call some people out.
I am too, honestly.
Not because I just want to make sure that's enforced really hard. Because I feel like people are gonna try and take advantage of it. So I'm like, if I see something, I'm cracking down on that one myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I guarantee somebody's gonna try something with it.
Yeah, I think so too. But you want to know something?
what?
I'm definitely staying out long as possible. You want to know why?
'Cause
Someone's
there's
gonna
very
drive
big
it.
potential. Yeah,
Someone's
very
gonna
big potential.
overdrive it on that apron, baby.
Oh yes.
Fall right up.
Oh yes.
But I was actually practicing it. Actually, not that hard at Texas.
No, Texas has got a wide apron,
Yeah,
and the turn is not that highly angled either.
yeah,
So,
it's
it
not
shouldn't
bad.
be that big of a deal.
It's not. Actually, that reminds me. I have to go like clip it, like it's just a tutorial version of what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, like a driver's meeting tutorial.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, probably need to do that.
Take them 17 attempts.
Yeah, the race is probably gonna be a shit show. So
Texas,
Yeah.
baby.
Um.
IndyCar line down the back straightaway.
yeah,
It's gonna be an interesting one. But now I
hopefully my
guess
mental survives.
yeah. I guess we move now to the final segment. So we don't have F1 this weekend. Next weekend, all we have is the All Star race to predict for. I guess I don't know. I mean, Kyle Larson.
I don't even know. Yeah, I don't even know who to
I'm
predict.
just gonna go with
Honestly.
Kyle Larson at this
Yeah,
point.
just
Just
go
he's
with the easy
winning.
pick of Larson too.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna. That's what I'm gonna go with.
I predict the race will be shit.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
think
mean,
that's
yeah,
pretty
but
much a guarantee.
Uh,
Even if the actual racing is great, the weird format's gonna ruin it.
Oh God, I'm gonna be mental boom.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be. You
I'm not even gonna
need
try
a
to figure it out. I'm just
PhD.
gonna
You need a PhD to
pretty
understand this
much.
race.
I'm not even gonna try and figure it out. I'm just gonna just kind of accept whatever happens and just be like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah. Like, okay.
yeah.
So, uh, I mean, yeah, at this point, you can't even bet against Larson because he seems so far ahead of everyone. But with all the inverts and stuff, geez, I
Yeah, you
don't
never
know.
know. Yeah,
I just,
that's what I'm
I
saying. I don't
predict the
really know
race will
who to
be.
pick.
I predict the race will be shit. There you go. That's my prediction.
I agree. um, I guess that does it though. Um,
Yeah.
episode. I think this is episode 20 of the Going Racing
It's
podcast. Okay, so if you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. We had some good stuff to talk about tonight. Formula One was a lot of fun to talk about. I think you're going to see a lot more F1 presence in the future here within the next month or two. So look forward to that. But if you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. Next week we'll have the All Star race to break down. We might need some other topics to come up with for next week, considering that it's just the All Star race. Now that I think about it, we'll work on that. Hopefully, some gaming stuff happens or something. But
You know what? That's one thing I forgot to bring up at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if the game gets announced this week.
oh yeah, that's right. Very well. Look forward or look at that as a potential. I haven't heard anything. I don't know what's going on there. Honestly, don't think it's going to get announced this week, but I think it's possible. Um,
Honestly, it's got to be soon. It
I,
has to be. The game comes out in September.
it has to be
Apparently.
like very early July at the latest. The absolute latest, early July. So yeah, honestly, yeah, you know what? I think it can happen this weekend though, but we'll have to wait and
E3.
see. What?
It's also E3 week.
Yeah,
That
so there is potential.
the
That's what we're going to
winner of the
talk about
All-Star.
next week.
Well, no, the winner of the All Star race thing could be what Eddie Gossage was talking about.
No,
With the
they've
winner of the
awarded.
All-Star race.
No. I don't know.
No, that was for stage. That was for All Star stage.
Oh, okay.
The winner of the All
Okay.
Star race could win the cover driver.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, because I was gonna say they've done something like that then, but
But it's not the same.
I don't
It
want
might be
Kyle
super
Larson
similar.
on the cover.
Shit. Oh no. 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 No.
I don't think that's what they're gonna do.
Oh
But then again, I
no.
think that is
Probably
it's
not, but I
possible.
mean,
It is possible.
it just came to my mind, you know.
Everyone wrecks on the last lap, and it's Eric Jones on the cover. Then that would be an awkward cover.
We'll see what happens with that next week. I guess since it is the E3 week, we're gonna dive into that next week or something on the podcast because there's not gonna be a whole lot to talk about. So we'll have a bit of a gaming again segment. But if you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. We'd like to thank you all for taking the time of your day or night to listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, any other platform you can listen to this podcast on. And we will see you guys next week after the All Star race. Have a great day, everybody.